Hey guys, it's Penelope and I'm in London and we're going to look today at my chart and I'm going to show you some tips of how you can use Astro.com, and I'm going to show you solar fire as well. And then looking at what's going on collectively, it's a bit of a mess, as we all know, and there's a big divide going on in between people making different decisions, and we can take that as far as countries, and then also, globally, like each country is coming up with their own sets of rules and regulations, which is very interesting because when I look at it, I'm thinking, how are they going to figure out their own economy? As you know, for instance, in New York, if we look at that, what's gone on there, and in the collective, we can see that if nobody's allowed in unless they have something that is mandated, then we can see that it's an issue. And again, in Australia, I have friends in Australia and I can see what's going on out there. So at this time, really saying not too much, we can look in the astrology or saying too much or not too much. We can look at the astrology and we can understand what's going on collectively when we look at the collective chart. But our own personal soul journey, our own charts are a reflection of what we're feeling and what we're going through. So I'm going to suggest to you that if you go to astro.com, which you can see here, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right page. So if you go to astro.com, this is my chart here. So you go to astro.com, you set up an account, it's free. You're allowed so many charts for free. And then after that, you can pay for a service, but at least you can see your own chart for free. So go to astro.com. Put in your name, date, and place of birth, and then you want the settings. I'll show you on my own chart. In evolutionary astrology, we use porphyry, which is a particular setting, and it's not that difficult to work out. But if you get stuck, you can always leave a message in, below this video, or you can message me on my Facebook page. So we can see that this is my chart. It's already in there, and it's showing me transits that are occurring today. And I've got Mars trine Saturn, the moon square ascendant, the moon is square to Sun, and moon trine Jupiter. So if I then also, you've got the important long-term influences. So a long-term influence, if you look if I put my pointer over inner strength, Neptune opposition, the MC, that began for me in April 2020 and it ends in February 2022. And then Neptune trine Neptune, again, it's been going on since April 2020 and it ends in February 2022. And then if you look, I'm going to have Venus in my second house. So Venus is going to go every 2 years, it goes retrograde. So when that Venus goes retrograde, it's going retrograde in my second house. And it's been there since the 10th of November in the sign of Capricorn, and I believe, and then we've got, and it's going to be there because it's going to go retrograde and then go forward again. It will be there until the 19th of March 2022, which is nice because I know what I'm dealing with in my inner needs, because Venus is to do with our inner needs and how we meet our inner needs, and also it's our feelings as what, it's really much what we're feeling inside as well. It's the ruler of the second house is Taurus, so it's the 5 senses as well. It's not just feelings, it's the 5 senses. And you basically need to look. I nearly dropped my microphone there. You really need to look where it is for you. So in my second house, it's going to be to do with my financial stuff, and if it's in your third house, it's going to be to do with communication. If it's in your fourth house, it's going to be to do with home. First house is self, and then fifth house is fun, joy, creativity, and children. So it's going to be different for everyone. But my natal, I'm going to show you here. Right, my natal Venus is in my fifth house in Aries. Can you see that there? So my natal is 18 degrees of Aries and it's in my fifth house. So currently that Venus, I'm going to show you, get my pointer just so you can see clearer. So you can see that Venus at the moment is there here, and when it gets to 25, 26 degrees, it's going to go all the way back to, I think, 11. We'll check on solar fire, and that will mean that if you look up here, here's my Mars. This is Pluto is trining to my Mars and Mercury at the moment, and also just about my North Node. And then what will happen is that is going to trine to my North Node, which is quite nice actually. That Venus is going to also trine to my Mars, and then it will go retrograde, and then it will go. That's why it's going to be so long. It's going to be trining that, because Venus takes 226 days on average to move around the chart, which is really, you know, it's good to know where that's happening, because it's a big thing that happens every couple of years, as Mars only goes retrograde every 2 years as well. And we can see about every 2 years. So at the moment, Mars is on my ascendant. Can you see there? It's just hit my ascendant today. So I've got a bit lively, because that Mars has been in my 12th house for the last few weeks. So actually, I did feel really tired during that period. I felt like I just wanted to rest. And that Mars went over my Neptune, and then it went on my South Node. It's still just about on my South Node. It's sort of still all been there. So this is about an ending of something for me. And I can feel what that ending is. So it's not always something that's happening outside of ourselves. It can be our internal world as well. So, you know, it's not just, it's just not just what's happening outside of us, because a lot of us can think astrology is scary and something bad's going to happen, when really, you know, it's our inner world where we have birth, death, transformation, not just outside ourselves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go to share the solar fire, the emanated page you can see here. And I'm going to come off screen, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that are really important changes that are taking place over the next few weeks. Okay. So here you can see, get my pointer again. So you can see this is a chart of right now, and the moon has just gone into Pisces. We'll see the moon here. It's just gone into Pisces, and this is a UK chart, but you know, this is within the last hour. So the moon has gone into Pisces, 0 degrees here. Then what we have is that Mars has been in Scorpio. Do you remember I just showed you it's on my ascendant, because I'm Scorpio rising. So that Mars is going to be moving into Sagittarius, and the South Node is going to be moving into the sign of Taurus. Sorry, the South Node is going to be moving into Scorpio, and the North Node is going to be moving into the sign of Taurus. And those nodes have been in the sign of Gemini and Sagittarius South Node for the last year and a half. So this is a big shift that's taking place. We've also got here, we've got a couple of things that we've got retrograde Chiron at the moment, and that's going to go direct. We've also in the next, I haven't got the date right in front of me, but I think I'll double check that in another video. And then also in January, the Uranian energy will also go direct. So you can see at the moment that Saturn is going to be moving on in. I think they meet at 10 degrees. So let's go a week forward. In fact, let's do this. Let's go a day. We're going to go days to watch that Mars move into the sign of Sagittarius. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So on the 13th of December, we're going to see the Mars move into the sign of Sagittarius for about 6 weeks, because it's about 6 weeks a sign. And then we've also got Venus is absolutely conjunct there. You can see that absolute conjunction, but you can see that it's not retrograde as yet there. So let's go forward and we'll see its station. So there you go. And it stations on the 18th of December. And then it stations, and then it's RX, retrograde, and it will retrograde back to 11 degrees, I believe. So this is a slow process. And this is why it's going to stay so long in one area. So for you, it may go over an intercepted house. That may be complex for you if you don't know astrology, but it could mean that you've got 2 houses going on there, depending on where your interception is. And then we can see also that this Saturn also, if we go, this is about cycles in evolutionary astrology. I mean, we could go deep, but it's an ending of a cycle and a new cycle, and a new cycle of balsamic, and then we have new cycles, but that's deep work, not for now. So then we have 10 degrees here. So watch this Saturn and Uranian energy, and we go 24th, and we can see they're both 11 degrees, okay? Just touching in there. So that is the exact conjunction that day, 24th of December, which is breaking free of limitations, and this is restriction. And this has been going on all year since February 2021. So then it's gonna move on. So, it's gonna go retrograde a little bit more. The RX is gonna be Uranian energy, and they'll sort of meet again, actually. This is interesting. Or will they? Let's see. No, because it goes 12. But it will cross again, because but actually thinking about that, Saturn is actually faster than the Uranian energy. So they will not, because that's 84 years on average, and that's 29 on average. So I just want to see when that's coming out of retrograde. We're doing days ahead, and we're looking for a station there. So I think it's the day before. Yep. So we've got the 17th of January 2022. It's going to station, breaking free of limitations. It's also trauma, and it's some past life trauma as well, depending on what we believe. But I'm very much more into this lifetime issues myself. I'm very grounded with my Taurus North Node at birth. But, it's worth understanding these archetypes deeper. And then Jupiter, the other thing we can look at, I'm going to go back now. Jupiter is here. You can see 0 degrees. So we're going to go Jupiter. We want that back in Aquarius there on the 28th of December. On the 29th, it's going to move into the sign of Pisces, which is quite beautiful. But with this, we've got, this is 12 years around the chart. So we can actually take that forward to see how long that Jupiter will be in the sign of Pisces, which will be nice for us. This is just a quick update, nothing serious on this chart today. I'm sure we could find some serious stuff, but, and the other thing I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to occur is this Mars when it moves over Pluto, because the last time it did that was in the Great Conjunction of 2020, when we had the Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction, and Mars moved over. And actually, the other thing that is very fascinating is that here we're going to have Mars is also going to move over the South Node, which I've just had in my chart happen, which is definitely endings. It's like a decision that something is over and going forward there. Let's go back. So I want to see that crossover. You got one. Oh, there it is. There you go. So you see Mars here, that red icon, and it's going to cross over on the 15th, 16th. So 15th, 16th, that's quite defining that for us as well. There's an ending of a cycle and a new cycle beginning as well. And then that Mars will move on to Pluto and go over Pluto, which will be fascinating for us. And then it will move on around, so it takes 2 years to go around, then it will hit Saturn and so forth as it goes. So Jupiter, let's go forward again. I love solar fire. So we got here, and we're going to go months ahead. So we're going to go Jupiter, 0 degrees. This is the 30th of December, this chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so then it'll go in 5 months, it'll go into the sign of Aries at 3 degrees. And then it will go retrograde. It'll go 7 degrees, 8, and then it's gone retrograde, okay? And then it'll go back in. There you go. So it's going to be there until around the end of November, beginning first week in December 2022. So that will be a whole new world when we go. We've got this beautiful Piscean energy with the Jupiter in Pisces. What we have is where we seek meaning in life from deep within ourselves. And it's the most, despairing moments that we have the ability to dig deep into, find a well of optimism. So think about that for yourself. It's in those moments that feel like we just can't live through them that we do find our well of optimism. So when we're in a really feeling a bad space, we never think it's going to end, but somewhere we feel something, whether it's connecting with something much bigger than ourselves, because we've got to realize that with Pisces, it's connected to Neptune, which is beyond the five senses. It's something much bigger, unknown. And it can be, foggy with the Neptunian, or it can be, there can be a lot of clarity there as well. And Jupiter is expansive, so it expands upon whatever it touches, for better or for worse. And then Jupiter in Pisces is where we are intuitive and we're searching for the truth. And we're also, a champion to the underdog. So we're all underdogs at some point, or in the society, somewhere we're an underdog somewhere, whether it's male, female, it can be, we've experienced something, whether it be abuse or in childhood, or we, in society and groups where we're cast out. So somewhere somewhere in us, at some point, we would have felt like the underdog. And that, as we go through society, this plays out. So it's also can feel very spiritual, or, and religious in such. It doesn't have to be religion, but that aspect of God, of knowing that there is, or that, just knowing there's something much bigger. So what else can I show you? So that's November 2022. We don't really want to go that far ahead. We're dealing with the now, which is fascinating for all of us. So if I go back to 2021 and we go back to December, which is the end of the year. So we've got a way to go with things, and I'll do some more updates, but I just thought I'd fill you in on where we're at. And I'm really excited for myself about that Venus trine in my Mars. And if you want help with that, then, or just tell me what's happening with your Venus, where it is. That would be really interesting to know. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.